A team of human rights activists has been given rare access to Australia's detention centre on Manus Island, and it's delivered a damning verdict. The Amnesty International researchers were able to go where no journalists have been able to, behind the razor wire, to meet with and assess prisoners. Their report says the situation is cruel, inhumane, degrading and even violates prohibitions against torture, and Amnesty delivered its report to the Immigration Minister Scott Morrison at a meeting this afternoon. Connor Duffy has this exclusive report.
Manus is a remote island to the north of Papua New Guinea, a lonely, sweltering jungle hoped to be undesirable enough to kill the people smuggling trade.
Today, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea and I are announcing a major initiative to combat the scourge of people smuggling.
In the dying days of his government, Kevin Rudd announced the mothballed remains of a Howard-era detention centre would again become central to Australia's immigration policy.
From now on, any asylum seeker who arrives in Australia by boat will have no chance of being settled in Australia as refugees. Asylum seekers taken to Christmas Island will be sent to Manus.
The Manus Island plan was also embraced by the new government. It immediately announced people arriving on Christmas Island, the main landing point for asylum seekers, would be on their way to Manus within hours.
Under the previous government, people settled in on Christmas Island. That won't be happening under a coalition government.
Little is known about what goes on behind the barbed wire on Manus Island. Today, one of the first detailed accounts emerged. 7:30 has exclusive access to a report based on the work of 3 Amnesty researchers who were allowed in for a week last month. It's clear the haste in getting people to the island doesn't apply to processing the claims of the roughly 1,100 men detained there.
No asylum seeker held on Manus Island since the facility reopened in November 2012 has yet received a refugee status determination. None of the Australian immigration officials with whom we spoke could give a time frame for the process.
The experts, the mental health experts in the facility said to us that that uncertainty, that lack of knowledge about how long this is going to continue and what's going to happen in their future is a serious mental health issue.
Today, Foreign Minister Julie Bishop met her PNG counterpart Rimbik Pato. He announced processing refugee claims won't start until February. That long wait on Manus could be very uncomfortable. According to Amnesty's first-hand account, the tropical centre lacks some of the most basic services.
Most of the latrines had no soap when we inspected them. There are too few showers and toilets to accommodate the number of men in the facility, resulting in unhygienic conditions.
We were informed by several members of staff that gastroenteritis is common. There have been several outbreaks of gastro inside the compounds, and we would certainly argue that is much more likely because the men don't have soap in the toilets a lot of the time.
The report finds conditions vary between the 3 main compounds on Manus Island. Amnesty is making the extraordinary claim that in one of them, there's not even enough drinking water to go round.
In the largest compound, water is supplied through 19-litre bottles, a dozen bottles a day for nearly 500 men, according to the staff who supply them, or less than a single 500ml bottle per person, an amount that is clearly insufficient, especially given the heat and the humidity.
Today, researcher Graham McGregor, who visited Manus, and colleague Claire Mallinson met with Immigration Minister Scott Morrison in Canberra to discuss the findings. They told him immigration staff wanted things to improve.
When we talked to the medical staff there, they estimated that over 30% of the detainees there now have mental health problems. We talked to people who expressed desires to self-harm and also suicide. A guy from Iraq told us that, he would have rather died at sea.
7:30 sent detailed questions about the report's key allegations to Immigration Minister Scott Morrison. Late today, he issued a statement saying that where improvements to the centre could be justified, they would be made, but that offshore processing is here to stay. Previously, the Immigration Minister had addressed questions about overcrowding on Manus at his weekly briefings.
We have current physical capacity to deal with everybody who is there.
With silence in Canberra for now, it was left to the PNG government to defend conditions on Manus Island.
The reports that have come is not a true reflection of what's happening on Manus. I think the report was out of date. At the present time, I think we have a pretty good facility there.
Amnesty, though, says it interviewed 58 detainees, and its report gives a rare window into the secret world of Manus Island.
Connor Duffy reporting, and the Immigration Minister Scott Morrison declined to be interviewed, but he issued 7:30 a further statement late today saying he'll investigate Amnesty's allegations about sanitation and water. He also says subsequent works at Manus Island since Amnesty visited may have addressed some of the issues. You can find his full statement on our website.